In today's breaking story, an iconic model just exposed Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. That's right, this scandal continues to get worse and worse for Donald Trump. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, as I was saying, Donald Trump is a total disaster. He's desperately trying to convince everyone this Epstein issue is a Democratic hoax, and it's not working.
Your Justice Department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
I'm in support of keeping it open.
If they want
Innocent people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. People, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do, so they keep bringing up that stuff. But it affected them. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to bring that up, frankly. You have Larry, whatever his name is, Summers, the head of Harvard, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Nobody ever talks about that. But I don't want to hurt Larry Summers, but he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. No, this is a Democratic hoax to try and get the significance of what we've done over the past 7 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They say it's #1 in history.
Even if it were a Democrat hoax, it's not going to stop the Trump voters from turning against Donald Trump.
This is to Mr. Trump, Mr. President. Help us out. It's been almost 6 months and you still ain't bringing gas prices down, Trump. Why? Why ain't you drilling? Drill, baby, drill. You know, it's $3 a gallon. Yeah, gas is $3 a gallon. Yes. Mr. Trump, I thought you were going to try to help us out. But promises you made, promises you're not keeping. Yes, Trump, please, hear our cry. I've supported you 3 times. I voted 3 times in 3, 6, 9 years, Trump. Please, Mr. Trump, help us out. We need it. We cannot afford to pay $3. Gas is higher now than it was when Joe Biden was in office, Mr. President. Come on, get it together.
And now an iconic model just exposed Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Take a look at today's top story. Stunning new allegations have surfaced about Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Model Cleo Glide, who once moved in Epstein's social circle, has come forward with a bizarre story that sheds light on just how deep that connection may have run. Speaking to the Daily Beast, Glide described how Epstein paraded her and a friend to Trump Tower in the 1990s, making them dress in white outfits as if they were nurses. She said Epstein was clearly trying to impress Trump, bragging about their friendship and using her as a trophy on display. According to Glide, when they entered Trump Tower, Trump laughed and smiled at the stunt, a moment she remembers as Epstein's way of showing off both to her and to Trump. The White House has dismissed Glide's account as a hoax, but with Trump already found liable for abuse in the past, these fresh allegations are reigniting questions about his long-standing ties to Epstein. And now here's the model herself describing that encounter.
And then one day, he'd spoken about Donald Trump as someone that, you know, he was kind of a bit self-satisfied about that friendship, I think, because at that point, Donald Trump was, you know, larger than life, you know, almost like cartoon-like character in the New York landscape. And he mentioned, I had this white wrap-over dress, and he said, oh my God, you look just like a nurse in that. It'd be really fun if we got this other mutual friend that had introduced us. Why don't we both go over to Donald's and you'll both look like nurses, and I'll just knock on the door and we'll go to Trump Tower and it'll be hilarious. And it kind of, you know, looking back, obviously, it's like there's something kind of mortifying about that story, about me putting myself in that Benny Hill position. But and being like sort of on Jeffrey's arm going to Donald Trump's. It's completely surreal. I mean, it's really mental. But at the time, it just felt like a bit of fun. And obviously now I look back and go, okay, it's a very odd story, and especially when it blew up into this global horror show. You know?
So take us back to, so you're sauntering over town, across town, from Jeffrey's house on East 71st Street to, was this Trump Tower you go to meet Donald Trump?
Yeah, we went to Trump Tower and we get ushered up. And so I suppose there was a sense of anticipation. And I wasn't that invested in Donald Trump, but anyone that lived in New York at that time knew he was an outsized figure. He was like a Macy's Day Parade float of a man, you know. And then, you know, so then...
Great description.
And I don't know, you know, I'm pretty sure that I remember the doors being sort of having all this kind of embedded Byzantine detail, like, you know, like this Persian prince that we're going to see on the other side. And then when the doors sort of swung open, the two things that really hit you, one is the outrageous skyline. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just the embodiment of all aspirational New York desire.
The view from his windows.
Unbelievable. I remember that. And I also remember the OTT, outrageously opulent Romanian dictator look of the... I honestly, it was shocking. Like, it actually blew my mind. And I'd been in very opulent French spaces, but this was on steroids.
Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.